Hey YouTube, Jonathan Mosette here. Hey YouTube and JNSports.org, really. Um, Jonathan Mosette here with you on this Thursday, October 7th. And a couple things I'm going to talk about today. One is the Brett Favre situation. Second is, I guess not really the Brett Favre situation, but the Randy Moss situation. Also, baseball playoffs. Started last night. I'll give you my thoughts on that. And as a matter of fact, actually how we are going to start out the show today. The Texas Rangers and Tampa Bay Rays were the first game to get underway of this 2010 postseason. Cliff Lee, as to be expected, was lights out. And I said that the Rays would beat the Rangers in 4. So I do think the Rays will sweep from here on out, but there was no getting past Cliff Lee yesterday. For those of you who didn't see the game, Cliff Lee had 10 strikeouts. He looked really good. He had everything going well. He did give up 1 home run in that game, but everything was running well for him. Now, we're going to do just a really quick comparison here. Of course, Cliff Lee had a very good playoff debut when he was with the Phillies. So we're going to compare how this one looked compared to that one. And speaking of the Phillies, history was made in that game against the Reds. Well, history was actually made on both sides of that equation. And so we'll talk about that. One was a little better than the other. I'm sorry, I was totally trying to find something here. Also, part of the 10 strikeouts, a rough day yesterday offensively for Carlos Pena. Pena struck out 3 times yesterday, so tough day for him, to say the least. I was really impressed with what I saw by the Rangers, obviously, and by Cliff Lee especially. They really had the home run bats going. In the game. Price, man. You know, Price was a 20 game winner this year, and he had a rough time. He gave up 9 hits, and he gave up 2 jacks. So it was a rough day for Price compared to Cliff Lee, who went 7 innings, 5 hits, 1 run that was earned. It was a home run, no walks, 10 strikeouts. Yeah, it was just you know, Phillies came on for the save in that game, and things looked rough for Phillies in the beginning. He walked the first 2 guys that he faced, but then he was able to get a line drive, I believe, and 2 strikeouts. I do know that 2 strikeouts for sure, and I'm pretty sure the other out was a line drive. So that could have been a lot worse than what it was. As far as base running, 3 steals were attempted in the game, 2 by the Rangers. Elvis Andrus attempted to steal. He got caught. Josh Hamilton, even with the bad ribs, got a single. He attempted to steal, and it worked for him. And for the Rays, Carl Crawford attempted a stolen base and got it, as Benji Molina's throw was not in time. Overall, just a good game for the Rangers, but I think the Rays will bounce back well. The Rays, you know, the Rays had a lot of line drives in that game. You know, there was only 5 hits on the board, and a lot of that was because there were line drives that got nabbed by the Rangers. You know, so that's something that they've got to avoid. Is that, but I think they'll be fine. You know, like I said, I think they'll come back and they will. I think they'll come back and play well today. We'll see. But you know, I mean, the Rays, like I said, like expected, swung some pretty good wood. So I think they'll be fine. I think they will. I think they'll rebound just fine. We'll see, but I think they'll be just fine. Game 2 takes place today at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. The game can be seen on TBS. Which now brings us to the next game that we saw, the Reds and the Phillies. Like I said, history made on both sides. The Reds in the playoffs, I believe, for the first time since 1995. That was the only history the Reds made. And it was not a good day for Red fans, and it was not a good return back to the playoffs for the Reds either. They looked rough. In the contest, Doc Holliday had himself a pretty good game all around, offensively and defensively. He got a knock and drove in a run. Now I'm saying this right now. The Phillies are my pick to win the World Series. I'm going with the Phillies all the way. I think that pitching staff is just too dangerous. You've got Doc Holliday. You've got Roy Oswalt. You know, that pitching staff is just a bad one for teams to have to face. And I don't care if you're the Yankees, the Rays, the Rangers, you know, anybody. I don't think you're getting past that pitching staff, and I do have the Phillies, the eventual World Series champions this year. I'm sorry, I know I shouldn't be chewing gum, but I've got a little bit of a sore throat this morning, so getting something to keep my throat soothed. Now, here's what we saw we saw for the second time in postseason history, a shutout. I'm sorry, a no-hitter. Well, it was the second time in Philadelphia Phillies history that they had a postseason shutout, but the second time in MLB playoff history that the there was a shot there was a no-hitter, and Doc Holliday was on the receiving end of the no-hitter. Let's take a look at the stats that he had. He also had a single and an RBI. Holliday went a perfect 9 innings, zeros all across the board, and he punched out 8. He did have a walk, so the walk was one thing that took him away from the complete game. But other than that, he looked good. And like I said, that Philly lineup, man, they're dangerous. So the interesting thing is, the Phillies got rid of Cliff Lee. The Phillies got rid of Cliff Lee to make room for Doc Holliday. Or Holliday. And both those guys had really good games. But as far as both these games today, I've got both these teams evening up the series at 1 apiece. When we come back, we will take a look at the other game that took place yesterday, the more exciting of the two, the Yankees and the Twins, and we will preview the matchups for today. So that is coming up. Stay with us on the JM Sports Show right here on YouTube and jmsports.org.